Yo, what is going on today, fam? So we are back working on the Gx470 again. For y'all that's been like kind of following this little build, right? So this is one of like the cheapest Gx470s in the country at the time that I bought it. Paid only $4,500 for this. So if y'all see my other videos, like y'all know that I've been just going through this thing, doing some maintenance up on it, just getting it all put back together. Had to put it in a new CV axle in the front left. Did spark plug, coil packs, air filters, did a muffler to lead up on the thing. Yeah, so next is gonna be our budget lift kit. I actually bought this used. This is a used Bilstein 5100 lift kit that I bought for only $250. You know, of COVID, there's been like a shortage of shocks. You know, like it's like either of these 5100s are like really high, or you can't get them at all. So fortunately, I found these locally. They got like 18,000 miles, but no leaks, and they still work flawlessly. And they come with the FJ springs already, which is perfect. So, like the cool thing about this lift kit, you know, like for the FJ, you know, for the 4Runners and the Gx470, is that it's adjustable up to 2 inches. So these shocks, actually, I have some more of them because I bought these prior to even buying my lift kit. And so these are the front shocks right here. And if you look, there's like 4 little grooves in there. So each groove is pretty much like a half of inch. So like right here, right here, right here, right here. So obviously, if you put it at the top, then it will be the highest setting because the springs will have more preload and it will make the vehicle sit higher. But I have mine set at the second one. That seems to be what most people run. It keeps your CVs at a good angle. And yeah, man, and then you're also able to use the stock upper control arms too, so you don't have to upgrade there. So I call this a budget lift kit because even when this is new, I think the kit on Bilstein is probably like $400 or something like that. But like, I got a really good deal up on it, so super stoked. But on the Gx470, it's a little bit different than like your FJs and your 4Runners, just because of the fact that I got rear airbags. So we're gonna be doing the rear airbag mod up on this, and I'm gonna pretty much discuss that. But pretty much that's gonna kind of trick the system into thinking that the truck is lower than what it is, and it's gonna cause it to raise up a bit higher to match our front lift that we're gonna have with those Bilstein 5100s. Then I have the rear kind of like extended. It's for up to 2 inch longer Bilstein 5100 shock here too. And I'm gonna have all the part numbers to everything here just linked in the description. So, you know, if anybody wants to buy it for their own rigs, then you'll know where you can get all this stuff along with top hats and everything. Put it out real good. But first thing we're gonna be doing is lifting up the rear of the vehicle. Super simple. One thing that I am gonna be doing is just replacing my rear sway bar end links because they are done for. So yeah, it's time to replace those bad boys. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that together. We're gonna start tearing this thing apart. So yeah, first thing though is gonna be to remove our rear strut here. It's super easy. Literally, we got one bolt here, comes out, I believe it's a 17 mil, and then we come to the top, then we have this one bolt here. So it's super simple, but I'm gonna go ahead and loosen this up and get it pulled out. One thing I do have is a jack right here on the rear axle because it helps you to be able to raise and lower the actual rear axle, just to help you in getting out the strut and like getting a new strut in. All right, so old shock is out, well, on both sides. This is one of the rear shocks, so they were really blown. Super easy though. It came out, no problem at all. You know, just had to get these bolts here, get these bolts here. The freaking end links, boy, I had to break out the freaking reciprocating saw to get that out. Man, working on rusty cars is the worst, and this is fucking rusty, man. You can just see all the rust falling off this thing. That's why this is a budget build, because honestly, I don't know how long. Well, I'm sure that the motor will outlast the chassis of this vehicle, without a doubt in my mind. So, moving on, our rear airbag lift. So, there's this place right here where both the sensors are, right? So, right here is where your sensors go, and you'll see kind of like a little arm that goes to the sensor. There's 2 bolts that hold it in. I already took them out just because, like, man, on my truck it's such a bitch, just because of just how rusty it was. One of them broke in there, so man, just be careful when you're taking these out. excuse me, breaking wind and shit. Oh, but these are the bolts here, right? These are the bolts right here. So pretty much all you're gonna do for this trick is you're gonna take some washers that fit. You're gonna stack 6 washers. Come on, focus, focus, focus. So you're gonna stack 6 washers on top of this, and that's gonna space this bracket down enough, right? Then that's gonna trick the vehicle into raising itself up in order to match our front lift. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna get that together, and I'll show you when I got it all tightened back up. So got that in right here. All that is just those 6 washers, tighten up the bracket. So this is just effectively, I spaced it down a little bit. That's all it was. So too easy. From there, we need to go ahead and get our new shock strut, whatever you want to call it, the side of the vehicle. So pretty easy. And this is where this is going to come in handy because you're going to have to lower the rear axle. So just make sure your jack stands are on the frame and not the rear axle, because I know some people jack it up like that. So I'm gonna lower down the rear axle as far as it will go, and then I gotta get this bad boy up in there. So let me make it happen. Oof, I'm tired. I am tired. So final product is right here. As you can see, I got the new shock in right here. As far as just how much you should tighten this, you should tighten it just until you see this kind of start to mushroom right here. And then with the end link, same thing, just till you see these bushings start to mushroom just a little bit. Got that all tight right there. So once you get everything, and then you get your spacers installed, you see the spacers right there, then you're good to go. You're all done with the rear. So, whew, it's getting a little bit late, and I got stuff to do tonight, so I'm gonna go ahead, put a pause up on the video, but tomorrow we'll be back to install these bad boys right here. Yo, what is going on, fam? So we are back again today, and we're gonna continue with our suspension install on the GX470. So, gotta make it happen. So, time to put on the front suspension right here. We got our 5100 already set up on the second notch. We got our FJ springs, and we got our top hat already installed. So everything is G to G there. So next we got to get this old spring and shock combo out of here. So being the fact I've been working on this car already, I've done my CV axle or whatever, so I have some things ripped apart already, but I'm gonna tell you exactly what I took off, so that way you're all up to speed. So the first thing that I had did was to remove our sway bar end link right here. So pretty simple design. Let's see, focus. Yeah, so pretty simple design here. They have an Allen head at the end of them to aid you in getting them off or whatever, but if your truck looks like mine, good luck with that. But some you can also use as a pair of vice grips on this side to just keep it from spinning. Luckily these came off with pretty good ease. If you're doing this job, man, I just recommend PB Blaster. Like put some penetrant on there, you know, a day before you even start the work, you know, because if your truck is like rusty like mine, Jesus Christ, it's been hell. All right, so the second thing I did was I went on ahead and removed my tie rod end right here, just moved that to the side. I also removed my sway bar. There's only 4 of these bolts holding it on. I believe they're 14 mils. Right here, it's only like 4 of these holding it on, so super easy to remove that. And I've also removed our lower ball joint bolts that hold our lower control arm onto the knuckle. So I removed these. What size are these? I believe this is size. Hold on. These are a 19 millimeter. These are 19 mil bolts. So I removed these 2 bolts, got those bad boys out. So now my knuckle is free. I can move it around how I need to. And the reason why I removed that is just so when I go to pull out my old spring and shock combo, I have some room to push down the lower control arm or whatever, just to make that easier. Yeah, I'm still getting used to this new camera, man. But yeah, just to make that easier. And then also when I'm putting in the new assembly, you know, being the fact it's a bit longer, you actually need to have your lower control arm just a bit lower. So there's a couple reasons. But if you have a GX470, and then the first thing you need to do is go to remove this piece right here, right? So this has the adjustable suspension up on it. So we are deleting that. So what we have to do is remove this wire harness for one. Then there's, I'm trying to get this, hold this camera in so y'all at the same time. Let's see. All right, so there's two Allen bolts. All right, one is right there, the other one's on the other side. Since I don't plan to use this again, and these Allen bolts are rusted to shit, what I'm going to be using is this chisel and a hammer, and I'm literally going to just bang that shit and break it off. And then you'll have access to a 14mm nut that holds on this bracket right here. That holds on the bracket where like all the electronics are hooked up to, this bracket right here. So before you can even go to drop this whole spring and strut combo out, you have to get that bracket off. All right, once that bracket is off, then we got these three bolts right here that's actually holding up on our top hats to this shock mount. We gotta remove those. Those are 14mm also. And then we come down here, then there's just one bolt. Hold on. And then we got the one bolt right here that's holding in our lower shock mount. So I'm gonna get all those loosened up, and then we gonna get this bad boy pulled on out of there. All right, so as you can see, I got that top part of the, pretty much, the adaptive dampening all broke off. This is actually the part that does the adaptive dampening. I got the wire harness disconnected right there. So now all we're left is this part right here. As I told you, there's a 14mm nut right here that holds and secures this bracket. So what I did on the other side is I just bang this, turn it around. I banged it to turn it around just so I could get a better view of, you know, of the boat. And then what I had to do was take a 17mm wrench and put it on this bottom nut right here. And I had to put my actual ratchet up here. And I just kind of had to just hold it while I did my thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that loosened up. Keep in mind, if yours is rusted like mine, you're about to have a time. But if not, then you'd be good to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and knock that up right quick. Then once we get off this bracket, then we can focus on loosening up these lower 14mm nuts right there. So this is a setup I got going right here. My fault. So that top nut on top of the bracket actually is a 17 mil. I don't know where I got 14 at yesterday, but it's a 17 mil. And then I came right here with my 17 mil wrench to put it on that lower nut that actually holds on the top hat. And then I got pretty much like an extension right here just to help to give me enough torque or whatever. So I just been turning it like that, and it's doing a lot better than the other side is. So I'm just going to continue to loosen this. One of the things I did yesterday, because I didn't have enough room for some reason, was I loosened up these three nuts to drop the whole shock assembly down, and that gave me more clearance up top for my ratchet. So there's many ways to skin a cat, so just do what works for you. There's no right or wrong way. All right, so I got this assembly loose, right? But as you can see, the top of my ratchet is now bottoming out on the top of my fender well. So what I'm gonna do is just loosen up these three top hat bolts right here. One, right, two right here, and then there's one in the back. If you have a ratchet wrench, now would be the time to break it out, because I found a 14mm ratchet wrench to be the best tool for the job here. It just makes it super duper easy in order to break these. But you might have to use something to break the bolts loose first, but once they're broken, ratchet wrench all the way. All right, so got off those 14mm nuts, holding that on right there. So time to turn my attention to right here. This 19 mil nut on there. Got that loose. So all I need to do is just take a little mallet, just tap. Oh, just tap that on through. Just tap that on through right there. Oh, don't forget there's a washer also, so don't lose the washer. Make sure you keep that. So I'm gonna tap that through, then I'll be able to pull down this whole assembly and get everything off. This is not a lesson in literally buy the cleanest car you can afford to buy, because rusty cars have shit like this. Like, the top hat was so rusted inside of the shock tower that I literally had to take off the freaking strut assembly while it was still on the car, because I couldn't get the top hat to literally unseat because there was so much rust. I put so much WD-40 or whatever. Man, I fought this thing to no end, but finally got it out. I'm just gonna clean up this bit just so it doesn't do it again. Then I'm gonna go ahead and get the new assembly in. But Jesus Christ, this is why this is gonna be a budget beater car, because I swear, once it rusts to pieces, I'm done with it, man. I'm not wasting the time, man. I see myself getting probably 100,000 miles out of this thing and she's done. But for $4,500, all right, cool. That's fine with me. Or who knows, maybe I'll sell it whenever I go to leave here. But god damn, bro. God damn. But yeah, let me get that back in there. Super simple. All you're doing is just like slide this assembly back in there. The only thing that's going to be interesting is the fact that since this strut body is, you know, longer, you have to kind of pry down your lower control arm or whatever. And then you have to use a jack to pretty much compress this to get it to line back up with the knuckle to get the bolts back in. Yeah, so it's about to be a bitch and a half. And I'm gonna need an alignment like ASAP after this, cause yeah. But yeah, let me get back to work. Alright y'all, so got our spring and shock assembly in now. So now what we gotta do is put our lower control arm bolts back in, just so our lower control arm is then connect to our knuckle again. After that, we gotta come put our tie rod in back in. We G to G. Still waiting on my new sway bar end links to come here. So for now, I gotta wait. But once I get everything in and get everything back together, then I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys what this actual lift looks like when it's off jack stands and actually sitting on the ground. So yeah, stay tuned for that. I'm gonna get everything back together, but the next video is actually gonna be this thing sitting on its own 4 feet. All right, fam, so we are back. It's a humid day in Virginia once again, but the lift is complete. And as y'all can see, boy, oh boy, does this thing look good. I swear, as I get more and more things like fixed on this thing, it just looks much better. Got my windshield fixed, finished up with my exhaust work that needed to be done, tinted my little fog lights under here yellow. Man, she looks good. Next is definitely wheels and tires, but wow. So I've been driving on this lift now for about a week and a half, 2 weeks since the last video. I've already gotten the vehicle aligned, because when you do this, that's when you do the lift, it can definitely throw off your toe and your camber settings. So I definitely recommend getting a alignment after any type of lift. As far as ride quality and just my general thoughts, the car, well, the truck rides so much better with this Bilstein kit. God, it rides so much better. I will say that the rear ride with the airbags is definitely a little bit stiffer, or should I say more firm, but still not, I mean, not unbearable, still very comfortable on the highway. And it takes uneven pavement very well. Overall, I'm happy. I don't think you can really beat this price as far as like a budget lift goes, and as far as my needs, this is perfect. You know, I don't see myself ever getting super into wheeling, so this will definitely be perfect for me to do like some mild trail stuff like that, and also the perfect winter daily and perfect vehicle to cruise, you know, 2, even 3 hours to the slopes if necessary, because I mean, it's comfy, it's got heated seats, it's got all the luxury amenities that you would want. Heat works super well, AC works super well, so I'm definitely happy with this lift, man. The Bilstein 5100 lift is perfect. But like I said before, if you have any questions about just this lift and just installing up on your GX470, definitely comment down below. Tell me what you think. Tell me how you think the vehicle looks. I think it looks freaking sick. But yeah, I will have all the parts used here linked in the description. But take it easy. I'm out.